Morning once again. I'm Regina Manera. Now let's bring you up to speed with those stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours. We have the majesties in the country. We're talking about His Majesty King William Alexander and his Queen Maxima, who arrived in the country yesterday evening. They're going to be having an official state welcome at State House this morning. We have our crew set up there at State House, Nairobi. The president is going to be receiving them. And what you need to know is that the majesties from Netherlands there. And when we look at what Kenya and Netherlands have in common is that this Netherlands is our main market, accounting for around 27% of our horticultural produce. So we'll try and see what then this particular state visit brings, to the country in terms of bilateral trade ties. And more so is that if you're going to be moving around Nairobi, you need to be wary of much expected build-up in terms of traffic. Why? Because these majesties are going to be going to State House, and also we are going to be welcoming Lesotho. The head of state of Lesotho is also going to be coming into the country today, so it's going to be quite a busy Tuesday. But we'll continue keeping tabs on that. Also, in terms of change of guard, is that Meru County has a new sheriff in town. That is the new governor who was installed yesterday, Isaac Mutuma. He was sworn in as Meru's 4th governor. This has been quite a turbulent political chapter in the county's history. Kawira Mwangaza there was the first ever elected governor, female governor, and sadly through her term, well, that's a turn of things. Well, there are those who think that it is about time that also the citizens of Meru County get service. We're going to be keeping tabs on that. Has Kawira Mwangaza exhausted all her legal avenues to retain her position? I don't know. Well, there are those who are already saying that it should have the swearing in of Isaac Mutuma as governor of Meru is not legal, given that they argue should have been given 10 days after the seat after impeachment of the said former governor, that is Kawira Mwangaza. We'll be keeping tabs on Meru County. Indeed, Meru County sits squarely within the Mount Kenya region, and the way the political shakeups are happening, this was a position that was held by a governor who had run on an independent ticket, secured the position, later to join the G8, G7 that is. Now we are having the deputy take over. What does this mean for Meru County? We'll be keeping tabs on that. And as we continue with matters that are crucial and key to our hearts, the government has issued a stern warning to private healthcare providers, citing severe consequences for those who refuse to offer outpatient services. This warning was delivered by Health Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai during the launch and presentation of digitization devices in Embu County as part of the ongoing efforts to implement the Taifa Care Health System.
Speaking at the event, Principal Secretary for Medical Services Harry Kimtai confirmed that the Social Health Insurance Fund is fully operational, calling on Kenyans to register and access quality services.
They should not blackmail the government. They should not blackmail citizens by stopping offering of services. If they continue like this, it is obvious. They are also subject to renewal of license.
For those who have registered and are paid up, if you go for inpatient in government hospitals, level 4, level 5, and the private hospitals which have contracted, it is also free. Again, challenges. We had a problem with the ICU, HDU. We started at 0 from NHIF. We went to 4,000. Now, just this week, last week we gazetted, it is 28,000.
Kimtai, who was accompanied by the President's Economic Advisor for Special Programs, Moses Kuria, also called out a section of private hospitals that had denied patients outpatient services over accrued debts from the defunct NHIF.
On the old NHIF claims, I think it is clear from the Presidential Directive that for those facilities whose claims do not surpass or go beyond 10 million, they shall be paid. That amounts to about 5.4 or 5.1 billion Kenya shillings that we are tabulating, and those ones will be paid without verification.
Only 29 private hospitals participating and 64 public hospitals. The fewer the number of hospitals participating, the more the money. So some people are telling people Asia is not working. so that the number of people sharing the cake ikuwe ndogo.
In Embu County, the government has disbursed 32 million shillings under the Social Health Authority program to cater for 24,000 outpatients. Of this amount, 24 million shillings was disbursed to public health facilities, while 8 million shillings will be allocated to private hospitals empaneled to the authority. The event also marked the rollout of Health Management Information System in Embu County, where healthcare administrators were urged to embrace it to enhance service delivery.
So anytime from now, we're going to be bringing you the live signal from State House, Nairobi, where President William Ruto is expected to now officially welcome the Majesties. That is the King of Netherlands and his Queen, that is Willem Alexander, accompanied by Queen Maxima, who arrived in the country yesterday at around 8:30. We have a team on standby. Now, the Technical University of Kenya has officially called off its strike after reaching an agreement with the government. The university had been on strike since January 23rd of this year due to irregular salary payments and unremitted deductions, which disrupted academic activities for over 50 days.
The Technical University of Kenya bringing relief to students and staff affected by the prolonged strike.
I want to officially announce to members of the public and academic staff at Technical University that the strike is over.
The prolonged work boycott disrupted academic activities, raising concerns over potential semester delays and setbacks in students' graduation timelines. According to the university's academic staff union, the strike was sparked by issues such as delayed and non-remitted statutory deductions, loss of pension funds, chronic salary delays, and unpaid arrears from both internal and national collective bargaining agreements. Following negotiations, the university has committed to settling all outstanding December 2024 salaries, paying January and February 2025 salaries immediately, maintaining consistent salary payments going forward, and remitting all statutory and third-party deductions starting in July 2025.
We were under pressure to ensure that we open it, but we decided that we'll take time to go to the root cause of the problems in that university and come up with a plan or a program that is sustainable. And going forward, we trust and believe that the strategies that we've come up with will ensure that the university remains sustainable, and within a few years, their books will come back to normal, just like we are doing with the rest of the universities.
I want to impress upon academic staff that now work with the management and ensure that students recover the lost time. More importantly, let us work, because now we have a deal. You could not get everything, but we have a first plan that is going to solve this problem once and for all.
And now we are ready to transition the learners to their next phase of life.
Meanwhile, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has issued a directive to all schools through county directors of education prohibiting the withholding of student certificates due to unpaid school fees.
Any school that is withholding NEC certificates should release them to the candidates immediately. Any reports of non-compliance should be reported to the sub-county and county directors of education. County directors of education shall furnish my office with reports on compliance with this directive within 14 days from today.
He emphasized that all candidates are legally entitled to receive their certificates upon the release of their results, and no institution should make the issuance of certificates conditional on fee clearance.
I hope that the principals and heads of those learning institutions that are still withholding certificates, especially for those who sat for their KCSE exams, are now going to release them following that particular directive. President William Ruto says the government is committed to implementing far-reaching reforms to ensure that the police service is motivated, well-resourced and professional. Speaking when he received the end-term report of the Second National Police Service Commission at State House, Nairobi, the president said the government will ensure that police officers who put their lives on the line have protection, equipment and backing of the government.
President William Ruto was at State House, Nairobi to receive the end-term report of the Second National Police Service Commission following the expiry of its 6-year non-renewable term. The president took the opportunity to reiterate the government's commitment to implement reforms in the National Police Service, saying there is demonstrable progress in the modernization of police equipment.
And my commitment is that we are going to accelerate that modernization program so that we can make sure that every police officer that puts their life on the line has the protection, has the necessary equipment, and has the backing of the government of Kenya.
The president also commended the commissioners for their contribution to police reforms and the human resource management of the police service.
Your work is a legacy that will shape the future of policing in Kenya for years to come. As we move forward, let us reaffirm our collective commitment to a national police service that upholds the highest standard of accountability, professionalism and fairness.
Among the key achievements of the Second National Police Service Commission include the recruitment of 10,982 police officers and 1,128 civilian staff, as well as the automation of the recruitment process.
And I'm very confident that the incoming commission will work with the Ministry of Interior and the National Police Service to make sure that the remaining phases of salary increase for our policemen and women will be implemented in accordance with the timelines that we have already rolled out and that were recommended by the report of the task force that I set up.
We promoted 16,338 police officers and 1,309 civilian staff. On disciplinary control, the Commission determined 1,461 disciplinary cases and processed 724.
Members of the Commission included Eliud Kinuthia, Chairman, Dr. Alice Otwala, Vice Chairman, John Olemoyaki, Eusebius Laibuta, Dr. Lilian Kiamba, and Edwin Cheluget. The Commission was appointed in March 2019 for a 6-year non-renewable term.
To politics now, Wiper Democratic Movement Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka maintains that all leaders allied to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will unite to make sure they send home the current regime in the next general election. Kalonzo, who spoke in Nanyuki town, Laikipia County, during the opening of the first Wiper Party office in Nanyuki, noted that the country is undergoing economic turmoil attributed to mismanagement of funds, hence they will not sit and watch. The former vice president said unity among like-minded leaders will promote national cohesion.
Tutawang'oa hawa wote mpaka Kenya ipate uhuru kamili. Kilicho na umuhimu zaidi ni kwamba tutahakikisha wafisadi wote ambao wameiba mali ya Kenya wanaenda nyumbani. Kwa hivyo msiwe na uoga. Wakenya wasema hawatauziwa tena uoga.
Convention Center. Chief Executive Officer James Maura has dismissed allegations that the state corporation is running on losses. Appearing before the Senate's National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity Committee, the KICC management said the corporation had made a net profit of more than 200 million shillings in the financial year and had a potential of making up to 700 million shillings. Senators, however, raised concerns the government was spending huge amounts of money to renovate the iconic building compared to the revenue it's generating.
Kenyatta International Convention Center management, while appearing before the Senate's National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity Committee, dismissed allegations that the entity was making losses, saying the state corporation was set to record a net profit of more than 200 million shillings this financial year. The KICC management indicated the ongoing renovations would uplift the facility to international standards and thereby attract more clients.
The year ending June 2025, we posted a profit of Kenyan shillings 200 million, profit after tax.
The government is spending at least 1.9 billion shillings in renovating KICC. Senators say the amount being spent does not match the revenue generated.
How do you account for that money? That is the issue. Even KICC now, they've given you money, fine. But your profit is 200. If you get 200 for the next 5 years, that's 1 billion shillings. That means you cannot even pay for what they've invested in KICC.
Meanwhile, Murang'a County Governor Irongo Kang'ata now wants the Senate to amend the Water Act to provide that water abstraction fee paid to Water Resource Management Authority WARMA be channeled to counties providing the water. Appearing before the Senate's Public Investments Committee, Governor Kang'ata said at least 30% of households in Murang'a County cannot access clean water, despite the counties supplying Nairobi and Kiambu counties with a natural resource.
Anyone who abstracts water from any water source pays some license to WARMA. Ideally, that WARMA money should come to Murang'a, because surely WARMA does nothing, does not plant any single tree to conserve that water ecosystem.
The governor now wants the monies provided to enhance planting of trees in a bid to conserve the water catchment area.
From Parliament to the corridors of justice, where Thika Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo received a reprieve on Monday after the High Court issued temporary orders stopping the Director of Public Prosecutions from proceeding with her prosecution. The court ruled that no action should be taken against Atambo pending the hearing of the application set for 10th of June 2025. Atambo was arrested by EACC officials last Thursday after they raided her home and recovered 22 million shillings.
Justice Chacha Mwita has handed Thika Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo a reprieve by halting her prosecution. Under a certificate of urgency, Atambo sought the High Court's intervention to challenge the legality of the case against her and how a search warrant was obtained by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Through her lawyers, led by Dr. John Kaminwa, Atambo informed the court that EACC lacked the mandate to prosecute without involving the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Justice Chacha Mwita allowed the application and issued orders stopping Atambo's prosecution pending a hearing of her petition. Meanwhile, in a related case at the lower court, Magistrate Harrison Baraza has deferred his ruling on whether EACC officers can be granted an audience in the court to Tuesday, March 18, 2025. The defense team contends that the anti-graft body overstepped its mandate by proceeding without authorization from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
So at what point does EACC then change into becoming prosecutors? At what instance? Does the law apply? Does the law allow them to be both? That is why there is that division of labor. If they are investigators, they are investigators, period. Unless they can show you that it metamorphoses into them being also prosecutors.
The court is set to determine if due legal procedures were followed before the case continue.
And we are appealing to all judicial officers in the country that do not allow fraudulent applications sneaked in by EACC pretending that they have locus to file an application. They don't have under the law.
Elsewhere, a Malindi court has convicted a middle-aged man after he was found guilty of defrauding a tourist of 124,800 shillings by pretending to organize for her trip to Savo National Park. Kenneth Joroge Maina alias GB also reportedly absconded court more than 6 times after being released on an 80,000 shillings bond. He was convicted by Malindi resident magistrate Nguruma Namnyak and will know his fate during sentencing Wednesday, 2nd April this year.
Now, police in Likuyani constituency, Kakamega County, have launched a manhunt for a man accused of killing his girlfriend on Sunday evening and dumping her body in a room at a lodging located in Ngalili Market. Now, these are the stories from the county's news roundup.
According to eyewitnesses, the deceased checked in with the suspect at the entertainment joint on Sunday evening. The incident has shocked residents and they are calling on relevant authorities to conduct thorough investigation to ensure justice is served.
Hii kitendo sio mara ya kwanza. Imefanyika hapo, hii ni mara ya 4. Watu wamekuwa kikufa hapo ndani na mambo yananyamaziwa tu. Sasa ni afadhali watoto wasichana wateteo wapate haki. Wamekuwa wakikufa tu kiolela vibaya.
In Mombasa County, Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho has pledged to resolve the grievances of Bandari Maritime Academy students following their protests over the institution's alleged mismanagement. The students staged a demonstration on Monday, disrupting learning at the academy.
And I'm looking forward to engaging them. In fact, I've already told my team to look for them. Waje wanieleze hasa the challenges that they are facing so we can address them. And that is the responsibility of government. Sio a back and forth. That wao wamesema, sisi tusema tuwasikize.
And Interior and National Administration Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo has urged Kenyan youths to use digital skills for job creation rather than engaging in cybercrime. He was speaking in Homa Bay County during a graduation ceremony of 290 youths who completed a digital skills program.
To the youths and everybody who has an opportunity to get into the digital space, let's take advantage of the good things that this offers while being careful not to move to the other side that then would lead us to be involved in criminal activities, whether it's bullying, whether it's cyber threats, whether it's cyber fraud, so that then we have a good country that we'll all be proud of.
Meanwhile, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has been elected as the patron of the Association of Boda Boda and Tuk Tuk Riders in Kenya. Sonko was unanimously elected by the leaders of the associations to champion their rights.
Sitaongoza ama patronage yangu kufanya na siasa ama na ukabila. Siasa tutaongea wakati wa siasa ukifika huko 2027. But kwa sasa ni kuchampion na kupigania haki zenu. You must be respected globally. Not only in Kenya, globally.
Well, that's the latest development in regard to that. But before we get into matters business, just a point of correction is that when you're looking at the Thika Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo's issue, is that Atambo was arrested by EACC officials last Thursday after they raided her home and recovered 2 million shillings. According to the direction of the High Court, is that it has issued stay orders stopping the Director of Public Prosecutions from proceeding with her prosecution. That takes us to business now, where small-scale farmers are set to benefit from a 65 billion shillings kitty from the African Development Bank that seeks to de-risk agriculture. Agriculture, Human and Social Development Vice President at the African Development Bank, Beth Danforth, says the facility will offer technical assistance and blended finance services to small-scale farmers to increase food production.
Have a combined agriculture funding gap estimated at 9.6 trillion shillings due to limited credit access by small-scale farmers. Players in the agriculture sector say there is need to remodel agriculture finance to help small-scale farmers increase yields and reduce the cost of production. The African Development Bank says it is in talks with other players in the financial sector to create a 65 billion shillings facility that will offer blended finance to small-scale farmers.
We at the African Development Bank are committed to work with our board and our partners here to do all we can to mobilize resources to de-risk lending from our own bank's balance sheet to scale up access to smallholder farmers.
If large-scale farmers and commercial farmers are getting finance, we have not sat here to address their needs. They don't need to be addressed in a conference. Banks are financing them. The only difference between the small-scale farmers and the large-scale farmers is the equation of economics.
The facility will ease credit access among smallholders as well as act as a guarantor to farmers accessing farm inputs on credit.
Governments, banks, development institutions must strengthen our public-private partnerships. We can provide better support to the cooperatives.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has awarded the outgoing FDB President, Akinwumi Adesina, the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart. Speaking at the award ceremony, President Ruto said AFDB has strengthened the country's food security through various key interventions, accelerated universal electricity access, and deepened regional integration.
The second item that I am very proud of your support and that of the Africa Development Bank is our road infrastructure. You have said it yourself that the dualing of Thika superhighway, and just for your information, now that road is all the way to Maroa in Nyeri.
We went even further, myself and the President, then Minister Ruto, when I was at Agra, developed and rolled out what is called the Kilimo Biashara program.
Now to sports, Sifa Mobility Kenya through Toyota Gazoo Racing Ball Rally Team has launched the Toyota Road Safety Mural Drawing Competition, a new initiative aimed at enhancing road safety awareness among school-going children across the country. The Road Safety Initiative comes just 3 days before the WRC Safari Rally that is to be flagged off in Nairobi.
Safety mural drawing competition is part of the broader Road Safety for All campaign launched last year and will provide pupils with a platform to reimagine road safety and visualize it through art. Through this creative process, children will express their understanding of road safety rules and share their unique perspectives on making roads safer. The initiative not only encourages artistic expression but also reinforces the importance of responsible road behavior among young road users.
It is for everybody, important for everybody, the drivers, the pedestrians, to be safe, isn't it? Is to be safe, because we want to come to school, we want to learn, then we want to go back home to our parents. Sivyo.
We appreciate that initiative that they have done, and I know in future we are going to get more. But so far we have gotten enough knowledge to sensitize our learners, and I know they are going to adhere to those safety measures.
According to the World Health Organization, every 4 minutes a child is prematurely lost on the roads globally. In Kenya, over 40% of road deaths are among vulnerable road users, including children. Through education and advocacy, children will become champions of road safety, contributing significantly to the vision of zero road fatalities.
Well, that effectively puts a cap on matters in the headlines here on Good Morning Kenya. Just to remind you that we have the Majesties from Netherlands in the country. They arrived at around 8:30 p.m. yesterday and were received by various government officials. But this morning, they are going to be officially welcomed into the country by none other than President William Ruto from State House, Nairobi, where we have a team that is pitched there to just bring you up to speed with what is going to transpire there. Looking at Kenya and Netherlands relations, is that Netherlands is our main source market for our horticultural produce, accounting for around 27%. We have our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim, who's going to be live from State House. We're going to give you that link when we are ready for that. Also, today we're going to see the president, that is President William Ruto, receive the leadership from Lesotho. So it's going to be quite the busy Tuesday here in the country. Just to say how busy it is, we're just going to give you just an alert and an update, so to speak. Areas that you should avoid between today and tomorrow, given the level of activity within the Central Business District. So Tuesday, these Majesties are going to be having several or rather numerous movements within the city. So that is bound to create traffic. On Wednesday, we'll have the Majesties' entourage travel to Naivasha, that is Nakuru County, via Mai Mahio and return. So the tracks are going to be rerouted from the Mai Mahio route there. On Thursday, there'll be more city movements before his dispatcher. That is, we're talking about the King and Queen of Netherlands, that is Willem Alexander. Then also on Tuesday, as I mentioned, which is today, the King of Lesotho will also arrive in the country, is expected to arrive in the country for an official visit. And on Wednesday, the King of Lesotho is going to be in Kiambu County, specifically Ruiru, visiting the clay works there and a school in Ruiru town for tree growing. So expect such disruptions in and out of the Central Business District. And last but not least, on Friday, The Safari Rally moves to Naivasha for the full action. This is going to be flagged off from Nairobi all the way to Naivasha. And KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, is definitely going to be keeping you updated on what happened at the WRC. So if you have not made plans for the weekend, there they are. I wish you a pleasant viewing ahead. I'm Regina Manyara.